And we are back, and we just finished watching 2023's No Hard Feelings. It's rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 43 minutes. We caught this on Netflix, but it's also to buy rent on Prime Video. This is the story of young, not so young Maddie, played by Jennifer Lawrence, who don't really see her in a lot of comedic stuff. So this was kind of a nice change of pace for her. Again, this is Maddie Barker, who is in the middle of, I guess,
financial crisis.
Yeah, losing everything because of not paying taxes. At the start of the story, her car is being repossessed, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, she has some bad blood with the guy who's doing the repossession. She seems like just that kind of a person. She is a train wreck.
Sleeping with everybody in town.
Yeah, it's kind of, sort of. And it just making a lot of not good decisions. She has the car taken away, and I think most of her money comes from her Uber driving, which she cannot do without a car. So she tries to think of ways to get around this. And her friend stumbles on a Craigslist ad, which basically is pimping out their son, kind of.
No, it's basically a couple of helicopter parents, very wealthy, who are nervous that their son has been too sheltered and leads a very sheltered life, and they want him to
get out of his shell.
Get out of his shell, and before he goes off to college. And by get out of his shell, they mean have sex with somebody. Yeah. So they think they're basically going to get a prostitute through this Craigslist ad. But Maddie ends up answering it, and she says that she can get the job done because she's not a professional, but she's older and knows things. So they're looking for like a young 20-year-old something girl, and
Maddie's a little older than that.
A little older than that.
Yeah. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you, Olive G. What did you think of the film?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. Did you like Maddie?
Not really. She was a train wreck.
She was a train wreck. She is a cautionary tale of what not to do with your life.
No, I mean, you learn through the course of the story that she has like, I guess, abandonment issues where it's made it or virtually impossible for her to make a connection with it. She doesn't want to make a connection with somebody because she doesn't want to be hurt again.
Right. So she'd rather
hurt
other people.
That's why she'll date some guy for a little while, whether or not there's any kind of attachment there. It's all right.
As soon as there is, you could see her withdraw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what she did to Gary.
Right. And now the thing with this whole situation with this kid,
Percy,
is she needs to, I guess, finish the job. Yeah, date him real hard in order to get this vehicle, because that's the compensation, a car. And this kid he thinks it can't be like it. Or it's not like she just like walks up to him and oh, your parents hired me to have sex with you. It's the parents want this to feel natural. Mm-hmm. And so she has to actually date the kid because the kid he's young and he's like, I don't think we should do that unless we know each other and whatnot. So they talk to each other, they make connections. It's not really a in-love story, at least not from Maddie's perspective. Mm. It is a bit from his.
Right, because he's young and
impressionable. But things progress, and it's I would say it ends on a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Olive G, did you have a favorite character? Did you like Percy? Did you like Maddie? Did you like the parents? Did you like her friend Sarah?
How would I like the parents?
The parents were pretty awful.
Yeah,
the dad's name was Laird,
which is a dumb name.
Sounds like something like a French word for crap. But yeah, the parents weren't. I mean, they weren't awful. They were just sort of.
They were awful.
They were helicopter parents.
They were kind of clueless as to the damage they had.
Yes.
They had done, or maybe they were realizing the damage they had done with their son, and now they were kind of overcompensating to correct it.
Yeah. I wonder how the story of them all sleeping in the same bed started.
He said that when he was young, he like sometimes he would go in their room, even though he was like probably beyond that age where a child does that anymore.
Right. But I wonder how that story got out.
Oh, little kids speak, or somehow it got out, and it's of course steamrolls because it's not. You got to start embellishing things, and then suddenly it's just like, oh, they're just some big incest family.
Yeah, that's terrible. Olive G, what did you think of Jody, the Manny, I guess, the man nanny?
Am I supposed to feel anything about him?
I don't know. I'm asking you. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do.
No, honestly, I thought he was kind of weird. I thought he was a little fruity.
What gave you the impression that he was fruity?
Just like the fact that.
Well, she said, "Oh, I'm here to do the same thing. I want to date him too."
Oh yeah, we were very close.
So,
all right. I mean, that was your inference.
Yeah, I don't know if I got that same impression.
I don't think I did either.
I just sort of got the impression that he was.
I thought he was a little weird.
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 He was also kind of an enabler, maybe.
Well, his entire family were enablers as far as...
No, I'm talking about Jody.
Yeah, but I mean...
Percy's family.
Percy's family were enablers. They enabled his
fair enough
hermitage, his self-imposed hermitage.
But even the way Jody interacted with Percy was very... Like, he almost treated him like a child. Did you not get that impression, too?
Yeah, honestly, I felt like he wanted to get with him because she's like... I don't know. She's like, I have many connections, so like, if you break his heart, I'll come after you and stuff like that.
Right.
I felt like he wanted to get with him.
I don't know if he wanted to get with him, but he was definitely very invested, and that's kind of interesting that he still maintained a relationship with Jody after the fact.
The impression I got was that he wanted to maintain the relationship for the financial benefits of it.
Jody did.
Yeah. So if Jody's still friends with Percy, then he and
could always hit
the family and all that is sort of like you have a connection there now, because these people were clearly incredibly wealthy. They have a house in Montauk.
They're
sending their kid to Princeton. And that's the impression I got. I didn't get there was any sort of like sexual thing with Jody going on, and plus it was almost like he was like a dog protecting his territory.
Interesting.
It was like no, you can't be messing around. Don't be sniffing around here because I've already peed all over this kid and he's mine.
Easy.
Metaphorically speaking. But you know what I mean. And I think that was just for, honestly, he was there just for, I guess, for humor's sake. Well, one of the things about the film that I feel was a shortcoming, probably because I saw the advertising for it, was I was expecting this to be more like a
Step Brothers,
old school type comedy where it was just sort of ridiculous and the jokes were coming at you rapid fire.
Yeah, it felt.
This was more like there were funny bits. You could see that these people were bantering with each other, but there was nothing really laugh out loud hilarious about most of this movie. Mm-hmm. There were certain bits in there that were really over the top. The nude fight scene, getting punched in the throat, the riding on the roof of the car. Those were kind of crazy and over the top, but I kind of just laid them all out there for you. Yeah. That was pretty much it. Whereas in these other films, it's just sort constant. Of like constant, like instead of the job montage, the fight scene in the front yard, the fight scene at the end, the boats and hose. It's just rapid fire, the sleepwalking, all of this stuff. It's
the one where they're trying to stop them from selling the house.
Yes, that one too, and it's one right after the other.
Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting that. Whereas
when you see the trailer, it feels very much like an early 2000s naughty raunch comedy.
Whereas this was more along the lines of our characters are growing and we're overcoming these sort of like mental blocks that we grew up with. Percy's overcoming. He legitimately does come out of his shell with the help of Maddie. And she grows too because she realizes that you can make a connection. It doesn't have to end in some sort of abandonment and pain and whatnot.
Right.
Sometimes you do have to let go of the few things that you're feeling comfortable with to grow as a person. Those are more...
And change is good.
And change is good. And those feel like more I guess, mature subject matter than you would expect in something like Old School, where
raunchy comedy.
Like, what was the change really?
Nothing. They contribute nothing.
They contribute nothing and give nothing back to the community. So yeah, I think the advertising on this film kind of made me feel like, oh, this is going to be this, and then I got this instead. So in the beginning, when I was watching it, I kind of felt a little bit bored. Mm-hmm. But then once I got that out of that mindset erased, where it wasn't going to be like Old School or Step Brother or something, I was like, okay, so this is more of like an action film. I wouldn't say this is like Harold and Maude, but it's
right.
It's sort of closer to that.
Yes.
Than it is to
Old School and Step Brothers.
I mean, there's definitely some raunchy stuff. Some things are said. Some actions occur. But don't go in expecting Will Ferrell streaking.
I mean, there's streaking.
There is sort of streaking. Yeah. That nude fight scene was hilarious.
I wonder if she did that.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. I'm sure the cheapest way to do it would just be like, just get nude and start kicking people in the crotch.
Yeah. I mean,
we're going to CG your boobs.
Unless they put her head on top of somebody else's.
You know, they could have done that, but if they did, I didn't really notice
it. Yeah. So. Yeah. I think that was like jarring to me, that sequence. But I mean, overall, I didn't mind the film.
Well, I mean, the only thing crazier than just like people fighting is if one of the people just happens to be nude. And not only that, they're not the victim. They're the aggressor. Being attacked by a nude man versus a clothed person. There's just something different about it that just takes it one step further.
Olive G, did you find the film funny?
Oh, yeah. Some bits.
Yeah. Did I ask you if you had a favorite character?
You did. She didn't.
She didn't have one. Oh, favorite scene?
The nude fight scene.
The nude fight scene. Funny. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. Gigi, what about you? What'd you think of the film?
It was all right.
Yeah. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Dad said, I was expecting it to be more funny.
Yeah. Did you find bits of it cringy?
Beyond cringy. I was genuinely uncomfortable at some points in this film.
Yeah. But it was still funny. And the ending, did you find the ending satisfying without giving it away?
Yeah, I guess. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite character?
No.
Did you have a favorite scene?
No.
Did you find the story of the main characters believable and how they grew?
Yeah.
Like, were their story arcs satisfying to you?
I guess, yeah. I didn't have a problem with them.
Yeah. Like from where Maddie and Percy start in the story to where they end up. Was that a good journey?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not like particularly attached to either of them, so I can't really like talk about how much I enjoyed their stories because they were all right, but they definitely did change. So,
if you knew somebody that answered a Craigslist ad to do something like this for money, what would you say to that person?
I'd be kind of weirded out, to be honest.
That's fair.
Would
you advise this friend?
Desperate times call for desperate measures, but I don't know if I'd want to be as close to that person as I was before.
Fair enough. Was it interesting to see it from like the female perspective? Usually in raunchy comedies, you get the male perspective, but this time it's from Maddie's point of view.
Yeah, I thought it was better. If the roles were reversed, I think this movie was like really bizarre.
Yeah.
If it was a girl whose parents got a 32-year-old man to do this.
Yes. That I don't think that could play.
Yeah.
That would be a hard sell.
That would be way more disturbing and have a much darker soundtrack to it.
Yeah. You and I saw May December, which we're not pairing with this film, but there's that ick factor.
Yeah.
But here it's more palatable, I guess, because they don't immediately, I guess, have sex.
Well, plus the kid's 19. He's of legal age.
Sure, there's that. Although he comes across as just younger because he's just been so sheltered.
Because he's been so sheltered. Plus, Maddie is not in a position of power over him or anything like that. She's not his teacher or his boss or anything. She's just a woman,
just some
random woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's it approaches that ick factor without going over it, because I think in May December the kid was like 12 or something when the relationship started. I mean, that's
yeah,
that's a child,
right?
Yeah.
His brain isn't fully formed yet.
Absolutely not. He's still saying stuff is cool. Man, that's cool, man.
Or cowabunga.
Who's your favorite?
No one says cowabunga.
Back in the 90s, they did.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle, Mrs. Martin?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I think any ick factor here, I mean, there were some scenes that were super cringe to sit through, but any ick factor, I think, is kind of canceled out by the comedy in this. I agree with you. It's not like a constant chuckling, but there was some really fine comedic moments. It was nice to see Jennifer Lawrence. I mostly don't think of her as a comedic actress.
No.
I think of her more as a dramatic actress. She has won Oscars for dramatic roles. So to see her do this was kind of fun and interesting, and it looked like, well, I don't know what the film shoots are like, but it seemed like it would have been like a fun experience to do this type of film.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you don't really see from her. I mean, has she been in any other comedies? I know sometimes they'll bill like Silver Linings as a comedy.
I was just going to say, but that's not really a comedy.
There are some very funny moments in there, but it's absolutely not a comedy.
Agreed.
That's more of a romance with mental illness thrown in.
Yeah.
Those X-Men movies aren't comedies.
Sure.
She looks like she's in hell in those.
She was in Don't Look Up, which is also built as somewhat of a comedy.
I've never seen that thing in one sitting. I've seen fragments of it.
I had to see that for film discussion. I didn't particularly care for it.
Yeah, but even if she's in some like a film that would be comedic, she's not the at the forefront. She's not like a physical comedian. And in this, she's doing a lot of physical comedy.
Yes, agreed.
Like this is like you see Melissa McCarthy doing stuff like this.
Yes.
Maybe not the nude fight scene, but she has been in, like, seriously, Spy was fantastic.
Yeah.
She's like doing Hurricane Ranas and stuff. And
well, let's be honest. It's not
her
really
character is. Exactly. But, this is definitely a veering off from the normal Jennifer Lawrence career path here.
Yeah.
I thought she pulled it off really well.
I did too. I was like, this is kind of pleasant. I'd like to see her do more comedies. It's funny when you see actors kind of play against the grain or what they're usually used to. So, but then you see an actor who does everything and it's like, well, it's not a big deal because this actor can do all the genres. But it's nice to see someone break out of those confines see them do something different, because then you see that actor in a new light, I think. And I think in the credits she's one of the producers on this, so kudos to her.
Good job.
Excellent job. I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to give this film a 6. I think from where it starts to where it ends, it's a fun, interesting little storytelling experience. It's not winning any awards. It's not the most amazing script. It's not the most amazing performances, but it is entertaining. It is naughty. There is nudity.
Yeah. There's nudity. There's some situations.
Language, situational humor, and
We're pretty lax, but I don't know if any other parent should be letting their
youngins
their
watch this.
I mean, our kids aren't really super young anymore.
Right.
So.
They're old children. It's definitely not for everybody. I think maybe 16 and up.
Yeah,
16 and up. And I mean, if it's, what did I say it was, an hour and what? An hour and 43 minutes. It's almost 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything seems to be approaching the 2 hour
2 hours, yeah. So it's nice to see something shorter. Like this morning I watched Pig and it was only like an hour and 30 something minutes. I was like, oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would recommend this, but yes, this is a hard R.
Mm-hmm. I also would give it a 6. It's not the best thing you're ever going to see.
It's not the worst.
It has some very funny moments. It also has some humor that doesn't quite land.
It has some sweet character
It
moments.
has some sweet character moments. If they ever make a live action version of Ratatouille,
Yes.
Percy is the person to play Linguini because
Yes.
they are practically
He is
clones.
live action Linguini. Yes. Andrew Barth Feldman. Excellent job. I loved the scene in the restaurant when he sings the Hall & Oates song to her.
Yeah, that was a very nice rendition of Maneater.
Yeah. I didn't. It's not a song that I've ever heard played that way, but it really worked. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. Gigi, 1 to 10, what'd you think?
Maybe a 5.
A 5, right in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Olive G? 1 to 10?
A 6.5.
A 6.5. All right.
All right.
So 6.5, 6, 6, and a 5. I think if
If you got
you're-
nothing else to do
Yeah,
and it's
if you-
on TV,
well, it's on
watch it.
Netflix.
Or Netflix.
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. It's fun.
out.
It's fun. It'll make you laugh, if nothing else. All right, and that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
good night.